Good afternoon, everybody. I am Shelly B, a conservative Black sister surviving in a hot mess world. Now, today, I had a really soul search about this topic, but today we're going to talk about abortion, Planned Parenthood, its diabolical history, and why Black women abort their babies more than any other pretty much on the planet. But before we do this, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I really love and appreciate if you would do that for me, just to help this move on YouTube. I have followers on other things, but YouTube for some reason it's not working. So I really want you guys to please try to subscribe to my channel, like these posts, because the whole reason why I'm here is to just take my expertise and my research and my observations of things and just try to help us elevate our frequency. And this topic to me is a topic that we really need to unpack because it's a problem. It's a real problem, abortion in the Black community. And people do not want to have this discussion honestly. And we're going to have it honest today because I feel it's a problem and I feel it's something that we really need to work on, because you have to explain to me why fertility clinics are in the white neighborhoods and we have all these abortion clinics in ours, and we're a small percent of the population and we get 40% of abortions, and we're taking on this abortion fight as our own, and meanwhile it's destroying our community. So we have a lot to unpack, and I have a hard 3 o'clock out, but I'm gonna come back when I get back home and get right back on here and show you all this information I put together. And the more that I went and down the rabbit hole of abortion, the more it was like, wow, like, it's Planned Parenthood is just a diabolical organization. It always has been. I've had lots of arguments with people about this. They try to make it seem like Planned Parenthood is there for, women's health things, when really they're like the biggest abortion, company in the whole entire world. And they really target us. And I'm going to tell you the history of it. And, we're going to go on a whole journey around the world with this, because I want this information to be out there, because we are killing our babies the most. And there's diabolical reasons why we are targeted. And we have to wake up to this. And we have to be more responsible so that we're not relying on this. Okay. So like I said, we got a lot to unpack and we're going to get right into this. But first, let me take a sip of this tea first. Because, this bothered me. And, it was a topic that's very sensitive. And, I had to really soul search about, even speaking on this, because I get attacked for a lot of things, but like the bottom line is that I'm just sharing information with people that I get, that I feel like our community doesn't know. Because if we knew the truth about Planned Parenthood and abortion and all of these diabolical, family planning centers and stuff like that, we would not use it at all. Okay. So let me present my screen, and I have so much stuff I want to show you guys, and I hope I can get to it all. But let's see. Let us see. Okay. Let me see. Okay, let's just start with this right here, this newsreel first, because I think that this will explain a lot. Let me see here, because this has been.
Planned Parenthood is on the defensive this morning, facing an investigation of its practices. An undercover video alleges the reproductive health organization sells body parts from abortions. The group says the claims are flat out untrue. Jan Crawford is in Washington, where 3 congressional committees are now getting involved. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning. So the video was secretly recorded by the anti-abortion group as part of a 2.5-year.
Now, I have to tell y'all, this video is from a few years ago, but this has just always been the issue of them selling these body parts. Okay. And I'm telling you, your Black baby is going to end up for stem cell research, melanin harvesting, and organ transplants, and all kinds of things. Just listen to the information throughout this live
sting operation. Here, 2 members posed as employees of a biotech firm to get access to a top doctor at Planned Parenthood. And
I just want you to know, there's all kinds of hidden camera footage of these people saying diabolical shit about what they do to these babies. And there's a gentleman that actually put together a documentary. I haven't watched it, but you'll hear it in here if you listen to it fully. And I forgot to put all the videos in the description, but I will go back and do that so that you guys can have all of these videos that are on here so you can watch them at your leisure.
Much they recorded the whole conversation.
A lot of people want exact parts of
Listen
the
to
baby.
that.
In graphic detail, Planned Parenthood's Senior Director of Medical Services described how to preserve valuable fetal tissue during an abortion.
We've been very good at getting parts on the lower because we know that so I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below, I'm going to crush above, and I'm going to see if I can get out.
She's literally saying that, because that's basically what they're doing to your baby is grinding it up and crushing it up. So she's saying that she does not crush those parts because she tries to keep the organs. Now, they claim that people, hold on, I'm sorry if somebody's calling me. They claim that people agree to this, but I just feel that people really don't know what they're doing, or somehow they're not reading this paperwork and understanding what they plan to do with this fetus.
Over wine and salad, she answered questions about the organization providing fetal tissue to researchers, typically for a fee.
I would say it's probably anywhere from $30 to $100, depending on the facility and what's involved.
The backlash was
But
immediate.
here's the rope-a-dope right here, okay? Because Planned Parenthood gets federal funding. Another reason why I voted for Donald Trump is because he said in his last term, or while he was running, I can't remember, that he would defund Planned Parenthood. And I agree. It is a diabolical place. And people tell me, oh, women's health, my women's right. You can go to any doctor and get your, your pap smears and all these different things that you're going to get, STD testing and, birth control. You don't need them for that. The most of their money goes to population control and, abortion. Okay. And I don't feel that our tax dollars should be spent for that. And I wanted to give President Trump a high five for that. He has a lot of policies that I agree with. And that's why I say a conservative Black sister surviving in a hot mess world, because, I have conservative values. And I know most Black people, generally speaking, historically speaking, culturally speaking, have conservative values. And we have to look at this because we are getting played as we always are.
Yet, Republican presidential candidates pounced.
I just think it's outrageous and disgusting.
And Congress
is.
announced it will investigate.
I don't care how much political weight Planned Parenthood throws around this town. No one is above the law.
But Planned Parenthood says it is following the law, that it provides the tissue legally for scientific research.
Now, listen. They provide the tissue legally. Do you know that when you get your baby aborted that they're going to do that? I feel like a lot of people don't really realize that. And another thing I'm going to tell you is that people with melanin, that's why they want your baby, because melanin, the organs transplant better. And this is why you find a lot of Black people with their organs missing or kidnapped with their organs missing. I'm going to do a whole live about that too, because our organs transplant better because of the melanin. So be it that you're Indian, Aboriginal, Black American, Black African, whatever you are, they are looking, there is a demand for your organs. You know what I'm saying? And there's a demand for your Black baby skin for melanin harvesting and all that. Y'all better wake up and go down these rabbit holes. And like I always tell people, you don't believe me when I'm saying, then go prove me wrong. Okay, because I'm about to show you right now.
With consent from patients and no financial benefit. Any fees merely are to cover costs.
You know why they saying that there's no financial benefit, but if the government is funding these organizations by the billions every year, they are getting financial gain for killing your baby. And listen, we don't know what kind of kickbacks these people are getting from pharma to give these babies. Most of these little babies are used for stem cell research, okay, that your ass probably will never get. A lot of these treatments that they use these babies for are for elite people that we are never going to ever be able to get. You know what I'm saying? You guys just got to wake up, because this is some diabolical shit right here.
A point the doctor made repeatedly.
The affiliates are not looking to make money, right?
Planned Parenthood blasted.
So they're going to throw that in. They're not looking to make no money. You're already getting your money. They probably already got the kickback for these organs that they're giving. You understand? I just feel like it's something more sinister with this. And I really wish that Doge would look into this.
Heavily edited video as the work of extreme anti-abortion activists. David DeLeeden is founder of the group that took the video.
Planned
this
Parenthood
guy
is still
did
receiving
it.
$50, $75, sometimes $100 per specimen per fetal part.
Now, this guy did the documentary, and I want to watch it. So I'm going to, try to find it for y'all and put it in the description. However, this guy was the one that did the sting operation. So now he got all this hidden camera footage, and they're going to say, oh, it's strongly edited. Oh, he's lying, this and that. No, he's not, because this organization has always been known for diabolical shit since the beginning of time. Its creators and everything was always geared to depopulating Black people and poor people and Jews and people that they don't like. Just watch this.
So all of that is just straight up profit that goes to their bottom line.
But even if it's done legally, medical ethicists question whether Planned Parenthood should be in the business of providing fetal tissue.
No, they should not.
You've got to be sure that it's the patient, the woman, who is at the center of your concern, and nothing else is diverting from
because
that.
This is what I'm trying to make my point. They are making a demand for our freaking organs, okay? They have created a demand for Black people's organs. That's why more Black people are using a service like this than anybody. You understand? Seriously. And we have to wake up to this, because if there's a demand for your baby's stem cells or your baby's skin for melanin harvesting, because listen, melanin has a lot of qualities that are very medicinal, as far as like being free radical absorption and stuff like that. So they're going to use our skin for medical treatments. You know what I'm saying? And we know this is true because in slavery days, they believed that Black skin absorbed disease. Okay. So now we have to go down a rabbit hole, but they, a lot of scientists say it's true, and they damn sure are melanin harvesting, and it's very expensive. And I bet your Black ass would, if it was a lifesaver treatment with melanin, they wouldn't give it to you. It's for these elite people that can afford these, these procedures that are probably not even covered by insurance and stuff like that. It's very deep. There's some evil people out in this world, and the faster y'all wake up, the better off we will be.
And this issue is not going away. Daleiden says his group has up to a dozen additional videos of top officials from Planned Parenthood from across the country, which he's going to be releasing in the days and weeks to come.
Now, this was years ago.
Asked Planned Parenthood for an interview, but so far they have not made anyone available.
Now,
Charlie?
This was years ago, and nothing has been done, okay? They have always been questioned. There's so much hidden camera footage about these people that is not even funny. And how much these people have no value for human life, how evil they sound when they talk about these babies. And y'all talk about, oh, it's just a fetus with a few cells. No, because by the time the baby's a month old, it is a viable fetus. You understand? Most women don't even know they are pregnant at that stage y'all are talking about. So it's like you're lying to girls, you're lying to women, and you're making it seem like it's not going to be any type of like it's nothing, and it's not going to be any repercussion. But a lot of women have emotional issues after having an abortion. You understand? And I had one, and I can tell you all about it, and I will tell you about it. And I don't feel that it's something that women should use as a form of birth control. I did it when I was very young and freaking ignorant. And it's a very interesting story, and I will share it down the line when I get to that part, because now it's a thing where women are sharing their abortion stories, and they're making it seem like it's nothing, and that and a lot of the times it's young, dumb, ignorant women. And that's why I said I had a really soul search about this topic, but it really is a problem, and they're really trying to propagandize girls, especially Black girls, into thinking that abortion is a form of birth control, and it's just not. There's a lot of things that you need to learn how to do before that is an option. You understand? That is not an option, and it's a lot of consequence that comes with that. You understand? And I did that when I was very young, and I regretted it for my whole entire life, and I'll explain to you why. So, we have to wake up as a community. If you have white people out here, with fertility clinics in their neighborhoods, and we have abortion clinics in our neighborhood, common sense is going to tell you that they're trying to exterminate our people and try to grow their own. It's, it is what it is. In the history of these organizations, it is what it is. And you guys have to wake up. In this country, we don't have any saviors here unless we save ourselves. You have to always keep in mind, no matter who's in office, we are still a colonized people. Wake up. None of these people really care about us. They really don't. You understand? We are not at the top of anybody's agenda. And you can see what they did to y'all, the Democratic Party. You know, a lot of y'all hate the Republican Party for whatever reasons. I vote according to policy and which policies I feel like align with me. I don't give a damn what they're called. I look at the policies, and we all need to start looking at that, because why do they have Black people in this fight to murder their babies when you already are killing your babies at the most highest rate as it is? It just, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. It just really doesn't make any sense. I want you guys to look at this. Now, the leader of Planned Parenthood, child, please, let me see something. Let's just start here. Look at this. This is why I wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton. I mean, I never liked her anyway, and there's so much evil, diabolical shit about her out there. And if you want to go down, you know, the rabbit hole of this evil bitch, you should, because this lady right here is the devil. She's the devil. And I would never vote for her ever. To me, the Democratic Party is a bunch of people that are Satanists to me. And a lot of people don't realize this, because if your whole platform is killing babies and abortion, with all of the other issues in the world, and they're supposed to be these people of love and unity and all this stuff, why are Black people killing their babies the most? And why are they promoting that to you? And why are you falling for this? Look at these people. Look at this woman.
Well, thank you
By Margaret
so much. It's great.
She's the creator of Planned Parenthood, but before Planned Parenthood, she was into some diabolical shit. She was a straight up hard racist, and you're gonna see.
Great to be back in Houston with so many friends, and to have an opportunity to participate in the Planned Parenthood annual meeting.
That's her.
I have to tell you that
that's Margaret Sanger right there at the KKK rally, talking to women about exterminating Black people, exterminating poor people, Black people, anybody that they feel that that they don't like or whatever. This is Margaret Sanger. This is the lady of Planned Parenthood. Their initial start of this organization was based in eugenics to exterminate the people that they don't like. Hitler and the Nazis, that's where they got eugenics from. That's where they got their whole idea of exterminating people and creating genocide and trying to clear the gene pool and stuff like that. Y'all better wake up to these people.
it was a great privilege when I was told that I would receive this award.
Now, Black people love the Clintons. They have done some of the most wicked shit to Black people that of anybody really that I can think of off the top of my head, Lyndon Johnson. But I just feel like these people are evil, and y'all like her and y'all vote for her. Oh my God. I voted for Trump the first time because I refused to vote for her. That lady is the devil. Look at what she's going to say about this racist white woman and this Ku Klux Klan. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. The Ku Klux Klan is a democratic organization. No matter how much they gaslight you into believing that it is a Republican-created organization, it is not. The Republican Party was created to abolish slavery, and they achieved that. The Democratic Party did Jim Crow, Black codes, the KKK, the lynchings, all of that was Democrats. Most Republicans were abolitionists of the period. You had a few people that infiltrated the Republican Party with that bullshit, but they were Democrats. I did a video about it. Go look at my videos and you'll come across it, because you are being lied to. You are being gaslit, okay? The main politician that caused Black people to leave the Republican Party was a Democrat that went into the Republican Party. So get it right.
I admire Margaret Sanger enormously.
She admires her enormously.
Her courage, her tenacity, her vision. Another of my great friends, Ellen Chesler, is here, who wrote a magnificent.
Look what this bitch gonna say. Margaret Sanger founded Planned Parenthood on October 16, 1916, in order to eliminate what she thought were inferior races like Orientals, Jews, and Blacks, and referred to them as human weeds. This is the founder of Planned Parenthood that they're always trying to rebrand and try to make it seem like, oh, well, she wasn't really a racist, or oh, everybody at that time was a racist. No, that organization has the same purpose today as it did back then.
biography of Margaret Sanger called Woman of Valor. And when I think about what she did all those years ago in Brooklyn, taking on...
Listen, she put one of her first clinics in Harlem in the Black community to sterilize them and stuff like that. You think birth control is something good for you? It sterilizes you. I took birth control pills when I was younger, and I'm telling you, the only reason why they gave me the birth control pills is I had a irregular cycle, unbeknownst to me that, you know, those pills are they're going to give you a false cycle, and it's going to cause you to have all kind of hormonal issues and stuff like that. So I went to a doctor that was a clinic doctor, and hopefully this is helpful to a lot of you. They told me to stop taking the birth control pills and just bleed. You know what I mean? And I used to have like these heavy, crazy periods, whatever. And she said, your body is trying to, you know, form its clock. And as a young woman, you start taking that stuff, you're going to mess up your body's natural production of your eggs and all kind of things. It's going to really mess you up. And some people become sterile after that shit. You understand? Or your cycle is just thrown off, and it's very difficult to track your eggs and all for your ovulation and different things like that. So I didn't have any money at one time, and I went to a clinic doctor, and the lady was like, well, listen, because I was having like this heavy bleeding that wouldn't stop and all this stuff. And she was like, you know, just bleed out for like a month. She gave me like iron pills and different stuff. And she said, your cycle should correct itself in a month's time. If you leave your cycle alone, it usually will find its way to right. Like, you know, it'll come back to the right track. And let me tell you something. I did this. I thought I was going to die. I was bleeding so much, but she gave me these pills to take. She said, if you don't stop bleeding by this day, take this pill. And to my surprise, the day she told me to take that pill to stop, my cycle had become regular, and I was good to go ever since. And then like I took Vitex and folic acid, and voila, I have my baby or whatever. But you know, there's a lot of story in between that of getting to my son. But the point I'm making is that all of these things that you think are good for you to take birth control pills and stuff like that. These are the people that were trying to sterilize you. They go all over the world and sterilize Africans, they sterilize Indian people, different stuff. They organ traffic people overseas and stuff. Even here, they grab people off the street and organ traffic them. If you have something that they want and you match the blood types and stuff like that. So it's very deep, and we have to be awake and wise. We're never going to elevate our frequency if we keep trusting these people. There's no way that Black people, any people really, should be trusting Planned Parenthood. How in the hell is an organization in the business of killing babies? And you guys are delusional if you think that they're not, sucking out babies that are, viable fetuses. They're not. You talk about, a cluster of, cells or whatever. No, they're not. By a month's time, which is when most women know, sometimes later, that is a viable fetus. And they feel pain and everything. It's just a diabolical thing. And I just don't understand why people would even publicly fight for something like this.
Archetypes, taking on attitudes and accusations flowing from all directions.
Look how she
am
this lady
really
up.
In awe of her. And there are a lot of lessons that we can learn from her life and from the cause she launched.
Yeah, there's a lot of lessons we can learn from her life. And I'm trying to tell y'all right now that these people out here that you trust so much are fucking evil. You know what I'm saying? There are so many KKK members don't wear sheets no more. You understand? They create policies and different things that mess up our lives. I feel like the Democratic Party was the worst thing to happen to Black people, because once we aligned with them, we lost everything. Integrating and all that stuff was a freaking scam to stop us. I'm telling y'all better go watch Dr. Clark Anderson and see what he's talking about, because we have to wake up and we have to, not align with these people like that. And like, you have to really question everything. When they're giving us something and telling us something good for us, it probably is not. I'm just telling y'all.
And sacrificed so greatly.
She sacrificed so greatly. Look at this bitch up here, giving a speech to women in the KKK about how they're going to kill Black people and, make a supreme race and, weed out all of the people that they hate in society. That's Margaret Sanger. That's the head of Planned Parenthood, the creator of Planned Parenthood. Her whole background has always been in eugenics. Her family, everybody has always been in eugenics. They learn eugenics from the United States and people like that, the Nazis. Okay? Get it right.
Do you believe in sin?
Listen to this.
When I say believe, I don't mean believe in committing sin. Do you believe there is such a thing as sin?
Well, I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents.
Now listen to this woman. She said the most sinful thing is to have a child that is not even a human being. She said human beings practically, they're not even human beings. This is what they think. This legacy of this agency that you're fighting to kill your babies for and with is a eugenics organization that wants to weed you out of society and keep the numbers down. And they're doing a great job because we abort our babies more than anybody else. So it works very well.
All sorts of things just marked when they're born. That to me is the greatest sin that people can commit.
Child, please. These are y'all people. These are y'all people. I mean, listen. We gotta do better. Listen to this man break it down. He's going to break it down. And he's going to explain the Negro Project. The Negro Project was Planned Parenthood before they changed the name. So people would keep using it. You understand? But it was straight up what it was. In them days, they said exactly what the fuck it was. The Negro Project to get rid of you Negroes and, you know, weed you out of society because you're human weeds. That's what she used to call black people in them days, human weeds. Listen to this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, back to History 101. This time, the subject is the Negro Project.
Listen to this. Now, you can go Google. I would say never Google anything because you really don't get the good information. Maybe you go on Free Spoke or any type of private search engine or any of the search engines that show both sides of the issue, because you're going to get like this one-sided thing of it. And they'll try to make it seem like, oh, well, that was a long time ago. We don't do that anymore. It's totally the same organization. It's just, they just changed the name.
Hi, how you doing, family? We're back now to look at the Negro Project. The Negro Project is something that started in Harlem, New York in 1916. And there were black people, of course, all of Harlem wasn't black at the time, or so-called black, but there were some of us living in Harlem. And where we were living is where they started the Negro Project.
I'm
now,
sure.
The Negro Project, this is a very controversial subject, I understand, but we need to have a clear insight into this. The Negro Project was started in 1916 by a woman named Margaret Sanger.
There's that lady again, Margaret Sanger. There she is again. That lady was the one who did the Negro Project. And before that, the Eugenics Society, they were all part of that. And that was just a society where they just existed to try to figure out how to make the white race supreme and get rid of all of these people without them knowing, by poisoning them with all kinds of different shit or whatever to weed them out of society. Y'all better listen.
From 1879 to 1966. She was a woman that, if you Google her, you can see how I should have put my phone up, but if you Google her, you'll see her in 1926 at a Klan rally, and all the Klansmen are giving her a Nazi salute. Please Google it. Margaret Sanger, KKK, 1925. You'll see it. Believe me, you'll see it. And she made comments like this: we don't want the word to get out that we're trying to exterminate Negroes.
That's why they changed the name. That's why they changed the name to Planned Parenthood, to make it seem like you're doing something good for yourself. They changed the name. But honestly, and we all see that these people were the ones who created the Negro Project, and they had to change the name.
She was into the eugenics movement. Look that up. With Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, who was a eugenics in 1925 or so. And
globalists like the World Health Organization, World Economic Forum, they all really believe in that agenda, that eugenics agenda, of where like they feel like now you can be useless in society no matter what color you are. So white people, you better listen too, because they don't really care anymore about race. Now it's just too many people. Technology has advanced so much that you don't need all these workers and all these people, and they're always trying to find a way to depopulate the earth. They go in every country, or they vaccinate people, and they get rid of a lot of people like that. Food, different things. Bill Gates even said, with vaccination, they can reduce the population by this much amount. Kamala Harris said something similar. So, you guys have to listen and stop aligning with people that don't have your interests at heart. You really do. And you have to get off mainstream media and go down the rabbit hole to figure out and find out the truth, because these people are gaslighting you and lying to you and making you seem like this is a fight that you should make, but it's only a fight against yourself, your offspring, and your longevity on this planet.
That's who Adolf Hitler listed as his hero.
Sure did.
Because they're trying to bring about having a race of people that are birthed and eliminating other races, which is basically what the eugenics movement is.
Yep, learn that from Americans,
Margaret
honey.
Singer, who we're talking about, said, we don't want the word to get out that we're trying to exterminate the Negro population. She also said black soldiers who fought for this country and Jewish people are a nemesis to the human race. She also said that the most merciful thing, now hear me well, the most merciful thing a large family could do with one of its infants is to kill it. This is a direct quote from Margaret Singer. This is the people that some people revere. And lastly, of course, she said, we need children from fit people and less children from unfit people.
Now, don't that sound exactly like what Hitler was saying? And he got it from the white people over here. So y'all talk about Nazis. The Democratic Party that y'all love so much, that's where they got all of this shit from. So it's the same damn people.
This woman started Planned Parenthood. A couple years later, they changed, the Negro Project, which is what it was called. Then they changed it to Planned Parenthood. Now I know women are going to say, oh, well, I need my OBGYN doctor and all this kind of thing. You can get that in other clinics. You can get that at the hospital. Planned Parenthood is not the only place for that. Planned Parenthood is celebrated for abortion. Now let's get to it. The abortions that they've done 56 million children dead since 1973.
56
Roe versus
million.
Wade.
56 million babies, and they say 40% of them are black people, but I feel like it's probably even more than that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that number is throughout the world or just America, wherever, but it doesn't matter. However you look at it, it's still a large number. And it really makes you think, like, what would the population in America be like if they didn't convince brown people to kill their babies? It's just something to think about.
6 million children dead, 80% of which are black and brown. That's roughly about 45.6 million dead black and brown since 1973. When you want to talk about we don't have enough voting and enough, this is where all your people are gone.
That's where that's facts. That's facts, because that's the reason why they opened the border and let all of those, migrants come in, because they know they have black people like this at first, dependent on the government and, thinking that the government had their best interests at heart, and they're on all these social service programs and they stuck and they can't get off of it. That's why I feel it's a good idea that we don't have all this dumb DEI stuff and we don't have all these social services, and we get off of this shit so we can elevate our frequency as a group. You understand? You're never going to get rich on social services. You're never going to elevate your frequency on social services. I think it's wonderful that, people are going to be, chose by their merit, because they got y'all thinking that you're some kind of victim all the time. You understand? You can't take care of your baby. You can't get a job without us. You can't do this. You can't do that. That is bullshit. Before we align with these people, we were doing all of that. Before integration, we were doing all of that. And people think that sounds bad, but it really isn't. The only thing that was getting in our way during integration, before integration, was Jim Crow and all of these evil Democrat people getting in our way and causing problems for us and bombing us and burning down our business and stuff. But if it wasn't for them, we would have our own community and our own little nation. We'd be minding our business and do, you understand? So it's like we lost all of that. You have to see it. I keep telling everybody to watch Dr. Claude Anderson, and I think I might make a whole live just about his teaching because it is the truth. You understand? When white people wasn't fucking with us, we had our own everything from hospitals to everything, beaches, everything. We had our own property, land, whatever. You understand? Because we knew that they wasn't going to do nothing for us. You understand? And then they threw us a bone and we just gave away everything. You understand? It's insane. And we have to really wake up to this now because you see Africa is waking up to colonialism and, getting rid of people like this. And we need to do the same thing. We have to pull ourselves up and be more reliant. Just like I agree with the president on not being reliant on all these foreign entities. It just makes sense.
You're killing them. And granted, she just facilitated it. It's you sisters still marching down there and killing your children. You all are marching for women's rights, which is fine, but you're marching for rights to murder your children?
To me, it just is crazy to me. I mean, even if you agree with abortion, and I feel like abortions are necessary, for certain situations or whatever, and that's your business, that's your personal prerogative and whatnot like that. You understand? Sometimes for health reasons, I had to have a DNC because I had like a blighted ovum or whatever, and they had to remove it. So, it's worth it for, I wouldn't disregard any medical service, but to kill babies as a form of birth control when all you have to do is chill and have discernment, and maybe not have sex or, take birth control or whatever you got to do, even though I don't really recommend birth control either, because that might mess you up down the line when you decide that you do want to have kids. So, I just feel like all this pressure is put on women to take birth control, get abortions, all that. Why can't these men get vasectomies or whatever? I wouldn't recommend that either. I would just say have self-control. That might be the best thing that you could have. The only reason why you have this baby that you don't want is because you don't have discernment, and you probably chose a whack ass person to be sleeping with, and they're not going to take care of you and your baby, or you think that you want to have this lifestyle that doesn't include having kids, so then maybe you shouldn't have sex. I mean, because having a lot of there's girls on here that had several abortions and all that. That shit messes up your womb. That shit, I'm telling you, they're trying to make it seem like it's nothing, and it's one girl was on here saying, "Oh, it's nothing. It ain't nothing. Don't think nothing of it or whatever." But it is something. You know what I'm saying? And then one day you might not be the hoe that you are, and you meet a nice man and you want to get married, and your shit is all messed up. You understand what I mean? So, I just felt like another narrative had to be out here because I just feel like, Black people are not getting it if we're aborting our baby the most.
Get it. And not only that, a woman can't impregnate herself. It's the man's seed that impregnates her. So your body may carry the seed to term 9 months, but it's also the man's child. It's not just your child. Don't be so.
Women are never going to see it like this. So this is almost a dead issue because women don't see it like this. They see it as their baby. No matter how much the men say they want these babies, they don't want to take them. And I understand because there is a level of responsibility in having a child, but I don't feel like I feel like having a child was the most rewarding thing I ever did. It elevated my frequency so much. You know what I'm saying? It made me work harder, get more out of life. I don't think I would be anywhere where I'm at today if it wasn't for me because I'm a mother. Now, if you're a loser mother and a deadbeat mother, you're not going to elevate your frequency. In fact, you'll lower it and you'll probably mess up your child's frequency too. And I do agree, you probably shouldn't have kids, but you know that before you sleep with somebody. We just have to think differently about it. Sex, My cousin had a baby at a young age. She had me dying because she said her mother said to her, you know, you got pregnant. Did you even come? You know, sex lasts for a few minutes. If you're lucky, somebody might last an hour or whatever. But really, is that small moment of time worth all the aggravation that you're going to have if you have this unwanted baby? I mean, it really is not that serious. It really is not. And as an older woman, I could tell you that your life is going to go by so damn fast, and your 20s are going to go by so fast, you know. And I just wish I had the discernment and somebody tell me that your 20s are going to go by so fast, and by the time you get 30 or so, when you're at that age to have a baby and you haven't had all these partners and stuff, you would definitely be on a higher frequency than most women, and you probably would attract a pretty decent person to yourself, and you would have a lot of options, because I feel like a man would much rather a woman that hasn't had a lot and have a lot of kids and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just a different way of thinking and something to think about. And it's not ever, you know, said because they want you to take this women's feminism, you know, narrative of like, oh, I do whatever I want to do and I can have all the men I want to like a man, and you know, and it's just bullshit. It's bullshit.
Selfish. Some women abort these babies without even telling the father. That's not correct. But see, this is a mentality. Now we got
get nowhere with that argument.
$500 million a year, especially when Democrats are in office, taxpayer money going to fund these abortions.
Now there you go. And he ain't lying. Billions of dollars, because tax dollars fund Planned Parenthood. God only know what else our money goes to in stem cell research, because they use aborted babies for that. You understand? They use aborted baby fetuses for all kinds of medications and different stuff like that. You understand? A lot of people didn't want to take the COVID shot and a lot of vaccines too, because they have all that shit in there. Once I woke up to pharma, I just don't really want nothing that they have to give me, honestly. You know, and I'm not. The medical community serves this purpose, but I would really be glad to see RFK try to clean it up and get like real consent for everybody, so we know what's in these products and really get the real truth of like how many injuries or the real side effects of drugs and stuff. I don't see why people are fighting this, because they have you so programmed, propagandized, and hoodwinked that they got you fighting against something that's for your own best interest. And it just reminds me of that movie 1984, of how the people were so angry at everybody except the government. It doesn't make any sense. It's just, I feel like I live in an episode of Black Mirror, The Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits, any of them shows, because to me, I feel like this is just unbelievable to me, the position that people are taking.
It's actually illegal to have abortions where you keep the heart, the lungs, the liver intact, but this is what they're doing. How do we know? Because their cameras proved it. And what are they doing with this money? They're selling parts of feed.
I've seen lots of hidden camera footage. It's out there. It's hard to find it on Google. You're going to have to really go down rabbit holes to find it. But it's a lot of hidden cameras footage of these doctors saying that they do it. You understand? And we know that stem cell research comes from these babies. So it's like, man, it's a controversy, and I feel like Black people need to really wake up, because if they're using your babies the most for this and you're not getting a dime, and they have all this tax money that they're giving to these companies, shit, they need to give you the money for your abortion. Shit, if that's going to be the case, because they're making billions of dollars all the way around through, you know, the research studies, the abortion clinics, the pharmaceuticals. It's billions, maybe trillions of dollars that this is making, you know. So we got to wake up. You want to keep funding your babies for some shit like this, and you're not getting nothing out of it, when all you have to do is have discernment and pick better about who you want to sleep with? I mean, I don't know.
Fetuses to the medical market, and that is an unregulated industry. It's not even
regulated,
and they're making millions off of that, because again, they study melanin, and they need the melanin in some of these fetuses to go into some of their medicines.
There you go.
Asian people.
There's a demand for melanin.
Look it up and do your research.
It's worth more than gold.
I'm not saying that women don't have a right to do what they want with their bodies. What I am saying is Margaret Sanger was a racist, and she hated Black people. According to her own admission, I read you some of her quotes. So according to her own admission, she hated black people. She hated brown people. She also said Slavs, Jewish people, black people, and Latinos.
That's everybody except white people. That's what they might as well
weeds,
say.
human weeds, and should be exterminated. These are her quotes. Now, in New York City in 2020, they're talking about taking her name off the Planned Parenthood building in New York City. And the street where it is, there's a whole square in front of there, which bears her name, Margaret Singer Square. Well, now you're talking about taking it down. Why? Because this is the Black Lives Matter movement. Black Lives Matter from the womb to the tomb. So, but our lives mattered in the 1970s. Why? I didn't see you guys taking her name off then. It mattered in the 80s. Didn't see you guys taking it off then. Our lives mattered in the 90s. Why didn't you take her name off? So
even though I just have to say that this man looked whiter than anybody I've ever seen, except for his voice. But you know, our people come in all hues, you know what I'm saying? And I think it also goes down to the culture and the spirit that's in you of, you know, are you going to accept this treatment or not? You know, and I'm glad to see more people speaking up. You know, it's not enough people listening, because I'm telling you, that sleep that they got on people is very hard to break it. You understand? People are not going to really wake up. Like the Bible says, most of the people on earth will be dead before people wake up. It'll be a small group of people left on earth when they wake up and say, oh, wow, these people are evil. Let's not align with them, and let's try to, you know, elevate our frequency and do the right thing. I would suggest elevating your frequency now.
You guys are doing this for political expediency, to seem like you're friends of black people, so you can get these black women to keep volunteering to come down and kill their babies. Sisters, please stop killing your offspring. We need a more moral high code on this one here, a moral compass, which is at a higher level. Keep your legs closed. If
they want to make sure you don't outnumber them.
Getting pregnant without a man that you don't want to marry.
Even though we do already, that's the fear, because I'm sure they fear that one day we don't rise up and treat them as bad as they treated us. But if you look at the world, they call black and brown people, you know, minorities. But honestly, if you look at the whole world, brown and black people are the global majority, you know, so they're always trying to hoodwink us, you know, excess out of history, you know, rewrite history and change and make these crazy narratives for us to believe. And we have to think and for ourselves. We can't let these people program our minds.
Keep your legs closed. And another thing,
I'm cold. I got to close this window.
Men too, but for women, you should not dress so provocatively. And I'm going to tell you as a man, because when you do that, you're not attracting a husband. Husband material, don't look at that. He looks in at that. Oh, the guy that looks at that is the guy that wants to split it, lick it, hit it, and quit it. There's no other way to say it. That's what he wants to do. In other words, he's going to use you and then go to the next woman and the next woman. And he don't care how many of you all impregnate. And because it's not pragmatic for some of you.
And listen, let's be real, because it is a problem. Because a lot of black men have a lot of babies and a lot of baby mamas. And I'm sure other races may do it, but it's prevalent in ours. You know, and we need to like do better, seriously.
You're going to march down to Planned Parenthood and get rid of the child. This is not a way to build strong black communities or black families. This is ridiculous. And people don't.
If anything, we should be having as many babies as possible, raising them and teaching them, you know, so that they can be leaders of the community. But we're not doing any of that. It's like we're just going to fizzle out, die off, let them, you know, weed us out of society, like they saying, and you know, we're part of the useless cursed class, so we'll just cease to remain if we don't get it together.
Respect us as a nation, because we're killing our own seed. We're killing our own children. You want to murder your children?
That is a crazy concept.
I'll never understand that, but it's not good for black people or so-called black people. And they're killing mostly you. You know, they don't even have Planned Parenthoods in a lot of these rich white areas. You know what they have there? Fertility clinic, fertility clinics.
Fertility clinics. He's trying to
so that you can get pregnant, because their birth rate is at such a low rate.
And he ain't lying, because I thought the U.S. Census, maybe the last census or the one before, they said that more white people are dying than are born. So this explains why they overturned Roe versus Wade. It don't have nothing to do with your black ass or your brown ass. It's to keep white women and make it a little bit more harder for them so that they can, you know, keep their race from, you know, deteriorating, because, you know, white women are having less and less babies and more white people are dying and being born. Go look at it. The U.S. Census reported that. So that's the problem. But that's the mainstream media ain't telling you that part. You understand? So stop it. Just stop it. Just stop and think for yourself for a minute.
Hispanic and so-called black people having babies every left and right. They killing your babies, and they're trying to get white women pregnant. Do you see what's going on? I hope you do. Don't fall into that. That's a racist agenda. Margaret Sanger's legacy lives on.
It's
and
always
millions
been
and
their
millions
agenda.
and millions still being killed. The Nazis didn't even kill that many people. Are you kidding? 56 million people? We killed 45 million. Imagine if we had 45 million more black people in the country right now. Where would our voting power be? Look at the percentage of what we would have. Come on, now we got to do better than that.
Yeah,
we
when you
got
look
to
at it like
stop
that.
with the madness. You know, even Dr. Du Bois and Martin Luther King supported.
Listen, they were definitely a huge part of the problem. And he's going to explain about Martin Luther King, but, you know, they really weren't a help to us, some of these black people. You know, there's always black people that they put in there to mess us up.
Margaret Sanger in their day. Du Bois even said on her board, I don't respect Du Bois even before that. He did a lot of things that were, you know, not very good for black people.
Malcolm X did
and
that.
Martin Luther King, at least he said at the end, I fear that I've integrated my people in burning house.
He damn sure did it towards the end of his life. That's why they killed him, because he started waking up and seeing what they really were doing. And that one of the last things he did say too was that, you know, you guys, maybe you should get armed and defend yourself, because these people are never going to do right by you. That's what he said. You know what I mean? So they try to leave this I have a dream speech, but he was sounding more like Malcolm X at the end.
He understood that a lot of things he did was incorrect for his people at the end of his life.
So he tried to warn, but it was too late.
But we got to get out of this mentality. These people hate you. Don't fall for their BS, and they're not trying to be your friend. Please stop killing your children. Let's have strong black families and not more black people, so-called black people. All right, thanks a lot, and please.
So there you have it, folks. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's the problem. It is a problem. And we have to do better. It's like we have to realize that we don't have any allies. We don't. You know what I mean? I mean, we have some allies, but whenever they tell you to do something and they tell you to hop on an agenda, stop for a minute, go down the rabbit hole, do the research, talk to people, and, you know, just don't trust what mainstream media is saying. And I express to everybody, get out and talk to people, because if you listen to mainstream media all the time, you don't get out. Get out and talk to people and really try to have a discussion with people. And I guarantee you probably will not want to align with these people once you really talk to them. And then, like I said, like my conservative friends were the ones that was there for me, you know, during COVID, you know, because black people, a lot of them, even though they were against the shots, they still were hoodwinked into that Democratic agenda. And I didn't understand that. And I still don't understand how black people could align with the Democratic Party. I didn't understand how they did it in the 60s, and I don't understand why they're doing it now. And I just don't understand how any of these people are trusted. I don't trust anybody. But like I said, I go by policy and I listen to all of the policies. Democrats never have no policies that say, oh, hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump, you know, and abortion. And that's it. Like, I really tried to listen and they just don't have no policy. So I just align with the people that have the policies that align with mine and that I feel is going to be best for my child and blah, 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 blah. So what else I got to show y'all here? I have so much shit to show y'all because this, to me, is just crazy. Let me see, which one is this? Oh my God, I can't even see what they are. Okay. I'm just going to play this one because I can't see it. Okay. Let's start it from the beginning. Now, this is unbelievable to me. This is why I say that I'm going to start this from the very beginning so you guys can hear it. So now this girl, this is why they say abortions are at, you know, a few cells and different shit like this. Look at this girl's journey here. So she's saying, don't let anybody downplay what you are experiencing. And she's showing and everything, but she still opted to kill the baby. For you, I've learned to the guilt, the shame, and the emptiness is real. And this is what I'm going to say. It is very true. The guilt and shame and emptiness is real because, you know, a lot of these girls are so young and they don't really realize what it entails. And so for me, I was only like 18 years old, right? And I didn't really know what to expect. You understand? I didn't really know. I swear I just really didn't even know what an abortion was to expect. Now, this was like in the 1990s, okay? And it was just crazy because now I didn't know anything about abortion. They make it seem like it's a good thing, there's nothing wrong with it, it's good for you, do it, it's nothing. But when we get to the clinic, now mind you, my boyfriend did not want me to do it. I have to throw that in there. But I just listening to my friends and, you know, I just didn't think it was anything. So I knew something was wrong when I got to the clinic. And I'm from Pennsylvania, a small town. And when I got to the clinic, well, the news is there. You know, there's people protesting outside. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm like, what is going on? I just remember that's when it became real to me that something is not right here, right? So, and then I'll never forget this. And I always think of this lady, and this is how I know a lot of people don't believe in God, and that's on you. But for me, I just feel like this was a pivotal moment in my life because this white lady stepped in front of me and said to me, don't kill your baby. I will help you with your baby. I'll take your baby. Don't kill your baby. And now that's when it's really real to me that is something wrong I'm doing. And I remember, I will never forget this lady's face. Dark haired woman. She had like a little bob that framed her face. I will just never forget this lady. And I just feel like that was just a moment where I should have, like, I feel like the universe was giving me a choice in that moment. You understand? But I just didn't know anything. And the people from the people from the clinic, you know, they see all these protesters. So they come and help you and they usher you inside, right? So then once I got inside, I was just starting to feel uneasy about it. But then I still kept, you know, just being ignorant. You're young and stuff like that. Man, I have the procedure done. When I tell you now, this is like early 90s. That shit hurt like a bitch. Okay. That was the most traumatic thing I had ever been through. And I just never forget how after it's like so impersonal and like they ask you a little bit of questions. I remember they asked me a little bit of questions, but by now I'm kind of like having confusion because of everything that happened outside. So they ask you questions and I'm just thinking like, I don't even remember what the questions were because they were probably so irrelevant or like just not important or they didn't really explain. Just like with the kids with the trans stuff, they don't really explain the bad part of what's going to happen. They're just going to tell you that this is great to do. It's good for you. It's nothing's going to happen. You're going to be perfectly fine. They don't tell you what's going to happen after. And I just never forget the doctor did the surgery. That shit hurt like a bitch. They give you a needle in your cervix. That shit hurts. And then then when they put that suction, that shit hurt like a bitch. You start having like contractions or whatever. Now, when I had the DNC as a grown woman and for the pregnancy that wasn't vital, that didn't hurt. I don't remember there any pain for that because maybe technology advanced more and stuff like that. But I tell you what, that one in the 90s, that shit was horrific. And I remember when I came out, I just was crying. I felt wrong in that moment. After I got on that table and I just felt wrong at that point. You understand? And I just didn't know that I could just not go through it. And I remember just crying. I could not stop crying, hysterically crying. And I remember one of the nurses was like, we can't let her go out there like this because mind you, the people were out there picketing. They detained me and would not let me leave And they kept me there for a long time. They made me eat. They tried to get me to stop crying. I don't know what they were telling me to stop me from crying. And I finally left. And I say all that to say that that moment in my life was just, you know, it was just life changing. It was horrific. I would never, ever recommend that for anybody. That's just my opinion. And I just wouldn't. And I always think about that. And that child today would be, I guess, 39, 38, 39. I think about that all the time, how old the child would be. So, you know, and like this girl is saying, the guilt, you're going to feel guilty, you know, unless you're just a heartless person, you know what I mean? And you're going to always think about it, especially when you get older and you realize you want to have kids and you can't have none. And you're going to feel like, oh my God, am I cursed because of what I did? And I felt like that for a lot of years, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like, you know, I didn't even think I could even get pregnant. And, you know, when I had the miscarry and all that, I just felt like, okay, this is my karma for what I did. You know, it's unless you are a heartless person. And a lot of these women are very young. And I just tell you, as you get older, you get more discernment and you are going to feel different. You know, I didn't even really want to, you know, come on here and tell this story because it is like an emotional thing. And I will always think about it. And I'm just telling you, being a mother is not the worst thing that you could be. It's the best thing you could be. And like I said, I've never had an experience that elevated my frequency so much. You understand? And you know, let's just finish listening to this young lady because, you know, once I saw my son on the ultrasound, I've really connected. But you know, before that, you know, I was not even considering getting rid of my son, but they told me that my son was going to have Down syndrome because I was old. I refused to get amniocentesis. I just, you know, and they tell a lot of women, oh, your baby's not viable, your baby's sick, and your baby, and they try to talk you into having an abortion at this late term. You understand? So, you know, you gotta really have discernment and just, you know, just wait to have sex. If you don't want to have no kids, you better really soul search about what you're going to do to stop from having kids because abortion is not birth control. You can't afford to. This girl is saying that she's forming an attachment, but she still has the abortion anyway. Now, this is something that, like I'm saying, now it's a thing for girls to get on here and tell abortion stories, you know, because they're trying to, you know, propagandize girls into thinking that this is a good thing to do, that it's nothing, that, you know, this is a form of birth control for you, and it's nothing, but it really is an emotional, traumatizing thing when you really think about it. And at time, you know, and somebody posts what does it say? Post-abortion stress dump. Oh, okay, that's nice. But yeah, I didn't see that in her comments. But you know, so, you know, a lot of women, it is stressful and it is like, you know, it be seeming like it's nothing until you go through it and then you start having all those emotions and you start questioning. And I guarantee you won't question that shit later in life. To stop you bleeding. And she's saying a memory that will always be in your heart. You damn right. You're going to always think about that shit. Like I said, my child will be 39 years old. You always think about it. Because once you get older and you get wisdom and you start having discernment and you look at your life, that shit is going to come and creep up. It just is. And you really have to have discernment about, you know, about things like this. And like I said before, a lot of young women don't think about their future. They can't see past the present. You understand? And you have to think about the future. And like she's already feeling bad now. So imagine when she get older and get more wisdom. But nothing ever stops you leaving. When I'm coming home, I'm on my own. So yeah. So, you know, she said, I have so much love in my heart for you. And I'm sorry. Like, I feel like it's very sad. You understand? Because women are forced to make this choice. But if you have a little bit better discernment, you won't put yourself in that position. You understand? And I know it's hard. You know what I'm saying? I know it's really hard to, like, you know, because most guys don't like to have sex without condoms and stuff like that. It could get crazy. You understand? But you got to think of yourself first, and you know what you want your future to be like. Because I know a lot of women, they wait late in life to have their kids, and then they end up not being fertile or whatever the case may be. You just got to think about these things before you do something like that. I have a few more videos I want to show y'all. I'm hoping I can do. What is this one? I'm just going to just show. They're not in any order. I'm just going to share them with you. Now, this one, these girls here, listen to this. This was very interesting of these two friends.
This event, and she's like,
let me start it again because
I had an abortion. We get to this event, and she's like, I think I'm pregnant. I remember her screaming and being like, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so fucking stupid. I mean, she was so upset. Wow. And I'm like, I didn't grow up with this idea that abortion was a good thing. And
I didn't have that. I didn't really have that idea either. And my mother, when I told her, my mother told me that
anyway, when we got there,
my mother told me that I
didn't
have
agree with her. So, but I remember from the seconds that abortion clinic opened, it was packed in there.
Oh, I had a panic attack.
I was bawling the entire time.
You hear what that girl said? When they got to the abortion clinic, it was packed in there. There was women, and when I went in mine, there was women in there, and I just remember nobody was happy to be there. Like, and I seen like a white woman that was a little bit older than me, and she looked really sad about it. You understand? They try to make it seem like, oh, you're right to kill your baby, and it's just some cells or whatever. No, as soon as you conceive a baby, the spirit goes into the baby. That science will tell you this. It's a spark of light that you can see it on a microscope and everything, a flash of light, and you feel. You know, I remember when I was like, when I was like very early in my pregnancy, I could feel like electrical charges. Your body goes through such a change immediately. You understand? And it really is an amazing experience. And they try to make you feel like having kids is terrible and like it's going to ruin your life and everything. And that may not be the case. You understand? It just depends on the woman you are. And I feel like having my son was the best thing that ever happened to me. Yes, I had a couple times of hardships, but it made me stronger. And I feel like it elevated my frequency. Like I keep telling y'all.
I never knew.
And every time she turned around, I tried to like fix. I didn't want her to feel any guilt, anything. But the whole time I was just so broken from it. So we go in the room to actually do the procedure. And I hated how like sterile the situation was. It was very like, all right, I'm your doctor, sit down.
It's very like that. It's no, like, it's just like an assembly line, how the doctors treat you. They just do that all day long. They don't think of them as babies, or they don't care. I don't really know what the mentality is, but she's right. You know, that doctor that I had, he just took the container and just left. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, it's crazy. It's just crazy. I would never recommend somebody do this. I would recommend that you, as much as I don't think birth control is good, I would prefer you do that than to have an abortion. I just feel like the only reason why you're in this predicament is because you're not responsible. You're being very irresponsible. You know, that's all it is.
Open up, and then you hear this loud machine. She grabbed my hand.
Listen, that sound of that damn machine, I will never forget it. And the guy told me, the doctor told me, when you hear the machine, you know you only got a few seconds. He should have said, when you hear that machine, just know you're gonna feel like you about to die and go to God, because that shit was hurt so fucking much, and it probably lasts a few seconds, but that shit hurt like a bitch. That shit was terrible. It was awful. I don't know about today, but like, I was very scared when I had to get the DNC done, because I just thought of that traumatic time I had before when I was younger. And, you know, I just don't even really remember much of the second one. But that first one, whoo, baby, that shit was horrifying. You understand? And like, when I had the miscarriage or whatever the second time, I just thought that I couldn't have any kids. And the next cycle I got pregnant and with my son. So, you know, it was a journey, and I'm glad I had my son. And, you know, it's just so funny how these two girls, her friends, supported her, but she was really against it. And I feel like that's a good friend to go through that with her, because you do need support when you go through something like that.
And as it started, she said, don't take your eyes off me. Just look at me. Please just look at me.
The truth is, I had an abortion.
We get to this event, and
she said her friends said, don't take your eyes off me, because that shit is scary. You think you're going to die you know, man, listen, it's just a very deep situation. It's very deep, and we need to really deal with this because we kill our babies the most, and it's not in our best interest to do this. It's not in our best interest to do this. What's this one? Okay, so look at these girls. This is what I'm saying. It's a thing now where they're like abortion stories or whatever. It's kind of crazy. But,
my pronouns are she, her, hers.
This is
I'm
ridiculous.
from Indianapolis, Indiana. I had my abortion when I was 18, so back in 2016.
I've also had a self-managed abortion. Just like Nancy stated, it's just you feel like you're in control, right? The autonomy is, for me, was very therapeutic. And so
now look how young these little girls are. They're talking about abortion was therapeutic. You know what I mean? It's like today, I feel like they are very propagandized into believing a certain narrative. Because when I was younger, at my age, at that time being 18, that wasn't something that was readily experienced, and it wasn't nothing anybody talked about and shit like that. So like you really didn't know what to expect and stuff. And I just feel like these girls are giving you some bullshit. You understand? Because it's not like, oh, it's this wonderful thing and it's just so easy and it ain't nothing. It's a beautiful thing to abort your baby. Like, what? It's just crazy to me.
Because I've had multiple abortions, I've also had a in-clinic abortion. Right?
My name is Candace. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and my pronouns are she and her.
Now, how dumb are these motherfuckers? I'm sorry. This one really pissed me off because you're going to get on here and say, my name is such and such and my pronouns are she, her. Bitch, we know your pronouns are she, her. If you on here talking about having an abortion, because ain't no other type of pronouns going to have no abortion. This society is Looney Tunes to me. Fucking Looney Tunes.
Having an abortion like really empowered me. I'm going forward.
I am Kanaya. I use she, her pronouns, and I am.
Why do they keep saying their pronouns?
Somebody
told them to say their pronouns.
Junior in college.
Somebody told them to say their pronouns. Why on earth do you need to keep saying what your pronouns are if you're on here talking about being pregnant and having an abortion? These girls are going to make it sound like having an abortion is a party time and the best thing that ever happened to them.
Going through my finals, and I first found out.
My name is Jacqueline, but feel free to call me Jackie. I am based in Massachusetts, and my pronouns are she, her. I've had two abortions. They saved my life.
Okay. I'm just going to keep on going because that, to me, is just some dumbass bullshit. That is crazy. Why were they saying their pronouns every time? That was just so bizarre to me. Just very strange. Very, very strange. Strange world we live in. Here's some more abortion stories of girls that it's just bizarre.
My abortion, I had just had a baby that was 2 months old, and I just knew that I could not financially have another child at the moment.
Now, she had an abortion. She had a baby back to back. She had a baby, and at 2 months, she had another baby. Like, I was pregnant. I had a blighted ovum, which is, if you don't know what a blighted ovum is that it's just like where your body sets up a womb for a baby, but no baby is there. So maybe like something happened early on and the baby just didn't take shape. So there's nothing there. They just have to give you a DNC to remove the sac and all that stuff. And that's what I had done. And then I turned around in the very next cycle, I got pregnant. And they told me not to have a baby because it was so close to, it was just too close to after having that procedure done. But I just, and my age and everything, but I just insisted on having it. Like, they always try to talk you out of having your baby, especially when you Black. They're going to find any excuse to tell you not to have your baby. And, you know, they really try to say, oh, your child's going to have Down syndrome and they're so hard to care for, this and that. And I was like, well, you know, actually, ma'am, I used to take care of kids with Down syndrome. And I worked in a house with all Down syndrome children, and I know how to take care of them. And she was gagging. She couldn't believe that was my response. But, you know, they're going to always try to talk you out of it. Now, these girls are going to try to make you seem like abortion is the best thing in the world.
I knew that it would be in my best interest to end the pregnancy.
No, what would have been in your best interest if you didn't want to have no more kids was to get your tubes tied, get on birth control, or not have sex at all. That would have been in your best interest.
And so as soon as I found out I was pregnant, that was my first decision.
Not for nothing, but her makeup is atrocious.
Was to have an abortion. I decided to share my abortion story because abortion is normal, and
abortion is not normal. It is not normal to kill your baby. They have normalized it. They try to make it seem like it's a good thing to do, but it is not normal to kill your baby. That is not, you know, oh, I'm pregnant, let me kill the baby. Oh, I'm pregnant, like have back-to-back abortions and have multiple abortions. Like there's something wrong with you. You don't have any discernment. Like, why would you keep getting pregnant and get rid of these babies instead of getting your tubes tied, getting on birth control, or getting a man that has a vasectomy, or not having sex at all? Like abortion is not a form of birth control. It really isn't. And I just feel like it's very selfish, and you're just destroying your body. Like you're gonna fuck up your womb every time they in there scraping out shit. You understand? It's like, you know, you have to think about your future. These girls are young and they're not thinking about their future.
That it's okay, and there's nothing wrong, and there's no reason to be ashamed of having an abortion. It is very normal.
It's not normal. It's not normal to kill your baby. So don't listen to girls like this. Look how young she is. She is very young. She's a lot of makeup on her face, but she's very young. This girl looks like she's early 20s, and she has one baby and she was about to have another. She doesn't have discernment. If you don't want to have any kids, there's shit you could do for that. You understand? Don't just be out here telling girls they can keep having babies, making babies, and having abortion. That is not birth control. It's really a dumb thing to tell somebody. And they tell these young girls this because they don't have discernment. They don't have wisdom yet. But I guarantee you, you're going to think about it later when you can't have a baby because your line is too thin from having so many abortions, or something goes wrong and they mess up your womb, or you just feel guilty as you get older and have discernment or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just not, it's not normal, you know? And, you know, I feel like any woman that has any type of heart or love for herself is going to feel a little bit of compassion or feel a little bit ashamed or a little bit whether or not they made the right choice after the fact. You understand? Because it's purely selfish why you're doing it. You understand? So, you know, I just feel like when you're young like that, that's the attitude that everybody kind of takes. But I'm just telling you, later in life, you're going to feel different. And I did a whole video about women that regretted not having children, and then they waited late in life and they didn't have no children, and they were very regretful, and they wished that they had did this and wished they had did that. So it's called wisdom.
As long as you feel like it's the best decision for you, you don't let anyone change your mind or make you feel any way for having an abortion.
Well, I can agree with that. I don't feel like, you know, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But I feel like you should be informed. You understand? Be informed. Before I do anything, I want to know the horror stories of it. I'm going to always Google abortion horror stories or plastic surgery horror stories or Ozempic horror stories. I want to know the worst of that shit. And then you figure, and then you have discernment and you think about it and you soul search and you figure out if that's right for you. You understand? But I just don't feel that, you know, killing your babies is the way to go. I just don't. Now, I know a lot of people don't believe in God. A lot of people are not spiritual and all those things, but I'm going to have to end it on this note, and I'm finishing right on time to go to do what I got to do. And I got through all these videos. Okay. Now, for the people that are not spiritual, I ain't talking to you, and you can click off now because I'm about to go there and let you know about the spiritual ramifications of, you know, killing your baby, aborting your baby, whatever you want to say, get rid of your baby, whatever you want to say. But I do feel that there's going to be, I'm a person that believes in karma. I feel like that is why, you know, my whole life, and I'm telling you, once I got like in my 30s, I was like, damn, I wouldn't mind, you know, having a child, but I probably can't have none because of the baby that I got rid of earlier, you know, and I just always think about that shit. And I didn't have my child till I was 40 years old. You know what I mean? And I was just lucky by the grace of God that God blessed me and I had this child. But I did a lot of work on myself, and I feel like I did become a decent mother. You know, I'm not perfect, but I feel like I'm a good mother to my child, and he says so, so it must be true. But and I just definitely feel that there's a spiritual repercussion. And like I said, I always think of that child and think about, oh my God, the child will be 36, 38, 39. Like I just every year I think about it. It's like you can't help what your spirit is going to put on your heart after the fact. You understand? So I'm just warning you of that. Okay. Now, if you want to go into the conspiracy, now I done told you that they organ harvest your baby's fetus. They gonna take your baby's organs. Now, my thing is, how are you getting? What are you going to use? The doctor said that she avoids crushing parts of the fetus, but how big of a baby is that where they have a viable organs that you can use for something? You understand what I'm saying? So these babies are termed, and I saw where, like, you know, babies that have been aborted or whatever, and they look like babies. You understand? They look like babies. They have you in a delusional sense that it's just a group of cells. That's like in the first week or whatever. By a month's time, it starts looking like a baby. And some of these abortions are big. That girl was showing. I don't see how she did that showing. I don't want to judge her like that, but like that is a lot, you know. I had a friend that she was trying to get an abortion and she had hypertension and the doctors would never do it. And she went from state to state and nobody would do it. And eventually she got so big, then she had to find a state that would do a late term abortion. And when she went there, they wouldn't do it because of her hypertension. They would have did it if she didn't have the hypertension, but because she had a hypertension, she wouldn't do it. And she ended up having a child. So, and you know, how your child gonna feel if they ever find that out that you tried to kill them like 4 times. I mean, it's just a crazy thing. Now, I want y'all to watch this, and I want you guys to go down the rabbit hole of Moloch. If you never heard of Moloch, y'all better go look at it and go down the rabbit hole and study it and hear about it, because I definitely believe that this is a spiritual world and it's a spiritual warfare. You understand? And I definitely feel that, you know, demonic entities, just like people believe in God and they believe in good spirits, I believe that there's negative spirits around all the time too. You understand? And I believe we give spirits power with our thoughts and behaviors and stuff like that. And then it brings me to Moloch. You know what I mean? And there's religions, go look it up, go do the research. You know what I'm saying? There are faiths that believe in this. There are people that sacrifice their babies. You know what I'm saying? And are these babies sacrificed to Molech? I don't know. It's just a conspiracy. That's up to you to do the research and go down a rabbit hole and see if it's true or if any of it resonates. But I just really feel that it's such a big deal why they killed, why they want these aborted babies. It just feels like it's something darker that must be there. You understand? Whether it's the organ harvesting and stuff like that, or it could really be that it is something much more deep and spiritual. You understand? Which I lean more to the deep and spiritual, because I feel like everything is a spiritual warfare. And you know, if you study the teaching of Satanists, which I did, I read the Satanic Bible, all kind of secret science books and stuff like that. That's why I say you guys got to read, because when you read books, and not just reading online, because a lot of stuff gets scrubbed off the internet and it's like sugar coated. But if you read books, especially old books before the internet and stuff like that, you get the real truth of things. And one thing I could say is Satanists believe in God. The modern shit, they try to say they don't believe in God, but they believe in God and they hate God's creation. That's why people like at the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization say that, you know, the future is not human. They can make a better human being, just like Hitler. He thought he could make this superhuman being and all this and that. You understand? Because they want to create something better than God's creation. You understand? They feel like God's creation, they feel like God blocks them, God's tyrannical. And a lot of people say that. A lot of people think that, you know, having faith in God is tyrannical because you have rules and stuff like that, and people think that it's not fair and certain lifestyles is not accepted and this and that, and people think it's bad. You understand? So a lot of people do believe that God is tyrannical. That's their opinion to be. You understand? But just like every child has rules and regulations and things that the parents put on them for their safety, you know, the same thing with adults and people in this realm, that we have certain, this is what I believe, that we have certain rules and regulations in the spirit that we have to abide by to not harm ourselves and others. So this is Moloch. This is a short thing about Moloch. I did study a lot about it, but I'm just going to let y'all go down the rabbit hole if you care about it or not, you know, because like I said, I know some people don't really believe in it, but it's very deep. Okay, well, I want to play. Let's refresh this.
Worshiper looks like. Check this one out.
You got to repent, sir, for babies.
Look at this doctor.
Because it's a sin before God.
Why?
Wow.
Stinky breath.
Look at this doctor.
That's pretty evil of you, sir.
Yeah, I am.
And I hope and pray that you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you do to babies, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
You love it, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I hope that you come to Christ, sir.
Oh,
now,
I never go to
just
Christ.
notice this black security guard down there. She's looking very uncomfortable.
I don't listen to Christ.
You will have a darkened heart, sir.
I do have a darkened heart. Yeah.
You have a darkened heart.
I do very, very much so.
And you will stand before God in judgment day.
Yes, I will. Every day.
You will stand before God in judgment.
Yes, I will. Every day.
All of the babies that
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, keep tearing the babies apart.
I will.
Keep tearing the babies
I
apart.
will.
Keep tearing the babies apart. Yes, sir.
Well,
The
she had to
babies,
tell him,
their
"Get
blood
your ass
streams from the
inside."
ground.
And Moloch was a Canaanite deity, a false god where people would sacrifice to please him. Does that sound familiar? This is what a Moloch worshiper looks like. Check this one out.
You got to
Let's
repent,
watch
sir,
this
for
one more time how this
babies.
man's acting.
Why?
Because it's a sin before God.
Why?
Wow.
Stinky breath.
Yeah,
Why?
that's pretty evil of you, sir.
Yeah, I am.
And I hope and pray that you.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you do to babies, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
You love it, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I hope that you come to Christ, sir.
Oh, I never go to Christ.
I hope that you come to Christ,
No,
sir.
I don't go to Christ.
Yeah, you.
I don't listen to Christ.
You will have a darkened heart, sir.
I do have a darkened heart. Yeah.
You have a darkened heart.
I do very, very much so.
You will stand before God in judgment
Yes,
day.
I will. Every day.
You will stand before God in judgment
Yes,
day.
I will. Every day.
All of the babies that
I
you
love
have
it.
failed.
I love it.
Yeah, keep tearing the babies
Yeah,
apart.
I will.
Keep tearing the babies
I
apart.
will.
Keep tearing the babies apart. Yes, sir. The babies, their blood streams from the ground.
And Moloch was a Canaanite deity, a false god where people would sacrifice to please him.
So, you know, there you have it, folks. Go look up Moloch. Read about it. You understand? You know, a lot of people that think the conspiracy is that, you know, these aborted babies, you know, are sacrificed to Moloch. You understand? And they get power. Certain people, you just got to read the teaching. I ain't saying it's true or not. It's certain people that believe this. Certain faiths believe this teaching. That, you know, they get power from sacrificing these babies, and, you know, children have a lot of innocence and you get a lot of power from them, you know, sacrificing a baby, demonic entities and stuff like that. I guess the smoke they emit or whatever. I don't really know all that part of it. You understand? But it definitely is taught in, you know, certain faiths. You know, go down the rabbit hole, do the research and read about it. Read all about it. And see what people believe that. And I just feel like you know, a lot of times we don't understand, you know, why we go through certain things. But I do feel like you know, I don't see how anybody doesn't think that there's a spiritual warfare going on. I mean, we are spirit beings, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what are you doing here? You know, do people ever question why they are here? You know, you can look at the world and tell it's 50% good and 50% evil. And what side are you on? You understand? So I did this live just so I could have a perspective out there that I know that, is not readily heard. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then they say, oh, if you're against abortion, you're a white supremacist and you're racist and you're this and that. No, it doesn't have nothing to do with that. It's like, that's just how they program your mind to think that, abortion is a far right issue. It's not. There's plenty of people of all walks of life that don't agree with killing babies. You understand? And you say that oh, they're not babies, they're just that girl was showing. She was showing. So she has something in there. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a cluster of cells if you're showing. So, be realistic. That's why I say stop listening to what you're told all the time and go down the rabbit hole and ask questions, do the research, get off Google, read a book, go to the library, read a book, talk to people, and go on search engines that are not Google, because Google is a leftist run thing and they scrub the internet of things like that. So you have to get where you could get the proper information for yourself. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to get off of here now. And, this was a journey and very exhausting. And I just wish that we could do better. We got to stop killing our babies because we're killing our babies. And meanwhile, they're putting fertility clinics in other people's neighborhoods so they can have more babies. So that makes you really question. And just think what that man said, that if we had that 50 million of the babies that we aborted or whatever, what would our presence be like in the world, or America for that matter, or the whole world? You understand? Because women, brown women all over the world get sterilized, whether they mean to do it or not. They sterilize a bunch of women in Africa and stuff like that without their knowledge. They do it all over. They did it here too. So, what would our community be like if we weren't always killing it and killing each other? You kill your babies, you kill each other with gang violence and drug wars and all. You know what I'm saying? If we didn't do that, we probably would be the majority in this nation. You understand? So it's really something to think about. And think about what is going to happen to this baby that you abort, because they're going to take your baby's stem cells and your melanin and all of that stuff. And what did you get? What did you get? And for some people, they think their life is so good without their kids. But I'm like, I'm proof. And a lot of women are like that too. I feel like I elevated my frequency when I had my son. I make more money than ever. I live better than I ever did before I had my son. And I want even more than what I have now because of my son. And I learned a lot of things from him. And I feel like I had a second child with my son. I feel like it's so many positive things to think about, when to become a mother, because that's your purpose really, is to be a mother. I don't care what feminism told you. That period that you have and that cycle that you have is designed to have a baby. Regardless of what feminism says, that's the purpose. Whether you do it or not, that's on you. But that's the purpose of a woman. You understand? That's the purpose, is to bring souls into the realm, to bring spirits into the realm, raise a child to be divine. And that's your purpose. You understand? As a woman. If you don't want to do that, you don't want to do it. But that's the reality of the shit. Okay. So I'm going to go now. I love you. Thank you for watching with me. I appreciate anybody that sat through this. Please share, like, share, and subscribe. Share this video with anybody that you think could benefit from it. And really, question, go down the rabbit holes of what I said. This is just my personal opinion. But go down the rabbit holes of what I said and see, if you find some discernment. You understand? A lot of you ain't going to never have discernment because you don't believe in that. But it's the spiritual power. Watch my video about human spiritual powers, because discernment is definitely one of them. All right, so I'm gonna go, y'all. I love you. I am Shelly B. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here. I'm gonna be late for where I got to go, but I had to come on here because it was on my heart. I love you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.